What's up guys, OraMagi here, back again with another video. Gonna be doing something a little different today, a little simpler, a vlog, aka
low effort content.
Please don't hate me vloggers, I mean you no harm.
Hello again to all my friends. Welcome to another Yemi vlog.
Anyway, getting down to business, Hyper Japan is happening again this year at the London Olympia from the 13th to the 15th of July, and I will be there for all 3 days. And I look forward to Hyper Japan more than Christmas. I love the event a bit. It's 3 days full of food, figures, posters, cosplay, music, clothes, food, performances, food. Did I say food? If not, then food. There's loads of good food at Hyper Japan. I've been attending the event since 2014, and it's the one time of year that I can be a gross weeb, surrounded by other gross weebs, surrounded by my kind. I mean, it's not like I hide the fact that I'm a gross weeb when I'm not at Hyper Japan, but you get what I mean. I get to be a gross weeb with more people than just me in my room. That's what I mean. That's why I love it. And it's because I love Hyper Japan so much, I hold the event so dearly to my heart, that I think I'm in a good position to say this. Hyper Japan, what the fuck is wrong with you? Clickbait aside, let's get one thing straight. Let's set some ground rules. This vlog, this one right here that you're watching, is by no means a dig at Hyper Japan, the exhibitors, or any of the wonderful staff who work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that the event can even happen in the first place. It's none of that. The entire reason I said what I did is because this year is actually my 5th year going to Hyper Japan in a row, so I think that as a regular attendee, I'm in a pretty good position to offer some criticisms of the event as a whole. In case you didn't quite get it, that was your content warning. This is gonna get a little ranty at times, so, you know, don't say I didn't warn you. Look, would you look at that? I was another content warning. I'm so good to you. Look at that. Two for one on the content warnings. You know, I buy one get one free. I'm so what a YouTuber does that? I'm so good to you guys. Anyway, clickbaity shenanigans aside, let's get down to business. Here are 4 things I want to see from Hyper Japan this year and later down the line in the future. This point is pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like it needs to be addressed because it's actually my biggest fear coming into this year's event. This year, Hyper Japan is being hosted at the Olympia London, which is a great space for conventions. It's wide, it's open, it's spacious, it's wide, it's spacious, and it's open, and you know where I'm going with this. And best of all, Hyper Japan has been hosted here in the past, which is great, right? There's nothing better than when an event is hosted in the same location, because it means that the organizers know how to effectively utilize the space. Right? Not necessarily. In 2016, the event was hosted at the Olympia, and it was pretty good. In fact, for the most part, I'd say it was great. And concerning live performances, those were really good as well. The artists were energetic, they were vibrant, unique, they were excited, they were loud. It's just a shame that the main stage was right in the center of the main floor. Yeah, you heard me right. You've got these loud, energetic, exciting acts playing their goddamn hearts out, playing for their lives on the main stage of Hyper Japan! But it just feels really bad as an onlooker because it looks like they're playing to a crowd that doesn't really care. Their name escapes me, but in 2016 I remember there was this one rock band who was so loud you could hear them shredding on their guitars from the 2nd floor and beyond, and you could tell that they were having fun and they were really enjoying what they were doing, which was great. But because they were so loud, because they weren't in a closed off performance space, you could see the looks, I could see on people passing by, the looks on people's faces that they considered their act a nuisance almost, because all they could hear was just loud guitar noises, and you could tell some people were just actually annoyed, which is really bad. How, as an artist, how bad must that feel for your music to be treated as a nuisance, as an annoyance because of where you have to play? That doesn't feel good. I can imagine that doesn't feel good at all. And seating. Oh, don't get me started on seating. Right! Getting started on seating! From an accessibility standpoint, I can understand wanting to have some seating there so that disabled people and just, elderly people and people who need seating can attend the performance and there can be no problems concerning that. But in no case for a live performance do I think that there should be literal rows and rows and rows of seating, because that's where you start to have a problem. If one of the acts is like a magic act or a performance act of some kind, then yeah, have seating, because maybe that's the kind of performance where it might take a while for the magician or the performer or whatever to get their act straight and to sort out their tricks or whatnot, and it might take a while. So that's good. But don't have rows and rows and rows and rows of seating when there's an idol trying to get people to jump around and wave their hands and wave batons and scream and whatnot, because it's just not going to happen. You've got to remember that this is a British crowd we're dealing with, You're not going to have people going, "Whoa, yeah, Idol Chan, woo!" No, it's just going to be people just like... Can I go now? That's the sad reality of it when you provide seating. More people might come and have a look because it's a seat, they're walking around the convention all day and their feet might get tired, but because of that, they don't then respond in the correct way to the performances, and honestly, I just can't help but feel bad for the artists. I mean, in comparison, just look at these videos from last year and from 2015 when they had performances in closed off spaces. I'm pretty sure from the videos you'll be able to feel the energy coming from the crowd and the artist. Take a look. This point, don't have it in an open area. Put it in a closed off room, and for the love of God, do not provide seating. If you have to, maybe just put a few seats in the corners here and there, but don't put rows and rows out so people feel inclined to sit down. Even if it means that maybe you don't have as many people attending that live performance, let the people who are there feel like they're at a performance, feel like they're at a concert, so that they can jump around and scream and cheer without having it feel like literally everyone else at the convention is leering at them because, hey, what the fuck are those weirdos doing jumping around to some Japanese music? People don't want to feel like that, so don't make them. For as long as I've been going to Hyper Japan, they've always advertised themselves as the biggest J-culture festival in the UK, which is a pretty lofty title. It's a pretty all-inclusive, all-encompassing title, and for the most part, they live up to it. They do it justice. At Hyper Japan, there's no shortage of fashion, games, music, anime, manga, media, music, clothes, education, travel, all sorts. There's no shortage of all that stuff. But as I get older, I also get wiser, meaning that everything I say is undisputably correct. And I've come to realize that there is one key part of Japanese culture, of Japanese pop culture, that is often absent from Hyper Japan. Basically, what I'm saying is, Hyper Japan, let me buy some goddamn hentai and look proud while doing it. If you've watched the Hyper Japan vlog that I made last year, link in the description below if you haven't, then you'll know that in the past I've often compared Hyper Japan to Anime Expo, even going as far as to call it the UK's version of Anime Expo. But recently I've realized that comparison isn't as accurate as I would like it to be. Being a poor pleb stranded in the UK, I've never actually been to Anime Expo, but from what I've seen on social media, it seems that it's way more accepting of all parts of Japanese culture. Fuck you, booth. What was that? So whilst I don't expect Faku and J-list booths and the like to be at this year's event, I would like to see more steps taken by Hyper Japan to allow that type of content to be more openly sold there, to be more openly exhibited and displayed at the convention. Now! They've actually allowed it in the past though. In 2015, when the event was hosted at the O2 Arena, I remember there was this one table that was actually selling hentai doujinshi. I remember this because I was attending with a friend who actually went there and bought a Higurashi doujinshi. Whether he's read it or not, I don't know. But it is proof that they have allowed that kind of content to be exhibited at Hyper Japan before. Maybe something has changed in the management, which has meant that they don't want that kind of stuff to be shown anymore, which, if that's the case, I think that's kind of silly when they openly exhibit alcohol with the sake experience, it's, double standard, maybe? And it's not like the UK is a stickler, for the most part.
Oh, no, 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 no.
For this shit, because last year I also attended SunnyCon up in Newcastle, and that convention was really special to me, not because I spent like over £400 on figures, but also because I was actually able to purchase my first hentai doujinshi, a momentous occasion, a moment of silence, if you will. Thank you. Your respect is much appreciated. In fact, let me just show you. I think I've got her around here somewhere. Ignore the copious sounds of pills. I swear I don't take any drugs of any kind. You ready? Isn't she beautiful? I'm sure all of you can appreciate this. But yeah, TLDR, I just want a big-ass Faku booth at Hyper Japan, and I just spent however long trying to justify it sounding noble in some way. Let's move on. I couldn't really think of a clean way to title this one, but bear with me, you'll understand what it means in just a minute. Continuing on from the previous point, I'm pretty sure that some of the big names that Hyper Japan never fails to announce year after year are to do with games. Since I've been attending the event in 2014, Nintendo and Bandai Namco are always there headlining the game section. And that is great, that is awesome, especially because this year, Bandai Namco are on a roll with games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, and even with games that aren't even released yet, like MHA1's Justice and Code Vein, which hopefully we get playable demos for. Whilst it's definitely a great thing that they always focus on making sure that Nintendo and Bandai Namco are always there to headline their game section, which I'm sure is responsible for bringing in a decent chunk of attendees, it does also make me wonder why they never extend a hand to the relative little guy. Because there are actually plenty of developers and publishers in the UK with links to Japan that should be being represented, should be exhibiting their wares at Hyper Japan. And that's what I mean by Hyper Japan should be putting more effort into embracing local links to Japan. There you go, I told you if you stick around you'd understand what I mean. Yeah. I could know some well-known publishers with UK offices who I'm sure would love the opportunity to come to Hyper Japan and show off what they've been working on. Publishers like Marvelous and P-Cube. If you don't recognise the first name, Marvelous are the geniuses behind the completely safe for work and family-friendly series Senran Kagura. This is why I made sure at this point came after the hentai one. See? Planning in action. Obviously, Senran Kagura isn't as explicit as hentai, although it gets pretty damn close at times. But my question is that if you can continuously peddle alcohol through your sake experience, why can't you let me have my anime titty booths? Wow, this started off actually somewhat seriously and maybe even had the potential to get something done, get something changed, and now I'm just here complaining about why there isn't enough anime titty out there in the world. What else is new? I understand that perhaps not all the onus is on Hyper Japan to get these companies to attend, perhaps these companies just don't have the time or the resources to run a booth, but that's where I think Hyper Japan should extend a hand, extend a helping hand, and be like, hey, you provide the goods, you provide the content, and we'll provide the manpower. Anyway, that's that point done. Let's move on to the final one. Hey, would you look at that? I can do titles that aren't completely ambiguous. Woo, yeah, go me. But yeah, this is tied with point number one for most self-explanatory title out there. But in my crusade to turn Hyper Japan into UK Anime Expo, I do think that there should be an official Hyper Japan after party. After you spent 3 days weebing out with your friends old and new, I do think that the best way to consolidate those friendships, to consolidate those bonds, would be with an after party. Just for comparison's sake, AX has their rooftop party, and it's not even like after parties are just synonymous with US conventions. Here in the UK, SunnyCon again, SunnyCon had a fucking boat party! A boat party! What even... Like, I'd be so down for a Hyper Japan boat party on the Thames, Toot toot! All aboard the SS Weeb! Toot toot! The venues that Hyper Japan choose, especially this year with it being hosted at the Olympia, like I've said 20 million times already, definitely have enough space to at least have a certain portion of it be converted into a pseudo nightclub. And even if for whatever reason that's not an option, logistics or whatever, Hyper Japan always takes place in London, and I'm sure there is some nightclub, there is some dance club out there that will gladly accommodate a bunch of drunk weebs and their fucking Shrek night call. Wait, does that even exist? Is that even a real thing? I'm gonna fucking regret this on my Shrek night call.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see, so much more.
If somehow the proprietors of any fine London establishments are watching this video, please help me make this a reality. It's something that makes a lot of sense and would be the perfect icing to the proverbial Hyper Japan cake. Okay, I know the title only says 4 things that I want from Hyper Japan and blah 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 blah, but I just had to get this one in there, okay? 4.5, Beat Saber. If you are unlucky enough to not know what Beat Saber is, let me just bless your eyeballs. Just take a look at these. Now tell me, I dare you, step up and tell me that a game like this isn't absolutely perfect for events like Hyper Japan. Like, come on, give me an official Hyper Japan Beat Saber Championship so I can start slicing on fools! Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyway, aside from the first point, that actually wasn't nearly as ranty as I thought it was going to be, which is pretty good if I say so myself. Give myself a good pat on the back for that one. The general gist of it is that Hyper Japan has given me so much over the years, and all I want as a dedicated attendee is for it to grow and mature into something better than it already is. But anyway, there's 4.5 things I want to see from Hyper Japan this year and in the future. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, you know the drill. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. All those actions help me out more than you could ever imagine. Wherever you are in this wide, weird, fucked up, wonderful world of ours, I hope you have an enjoyable day or night. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.